Today, we're coming to you from the grand halls of the University of Birmingham, an institution steeped in discovery and research since 1900. The University of Birmingham was the UK's first civic university, a place designed for everyone, not just the privileged few. Every one of our graduands today is a part of that proud tradition of learning and achievement. Degree congregations at the University of Birmingham date back to 1901 and are held here in the Great Hall, right at the heart of our Edgbaston campus. Attended by nearly 30,000 graduates and guests each year, these events are the highlight of the university calendar and represent for many students the conclusion of their studies at Birmingham. Originally built as a cathedral to learning, the Great Hall never fails to impress our visitors. The building is Grade 2 listed, and it's really the details that make the space so special. It features a trompe-l'oeil domed ceiling located above its formal marble entrance. The entrance is bordered by archways that are designed to draw the eye towards the centre of the room. The music you can hear is being performed by our very own student musicians. They often perform versions of modern pop hits or songs with a Birmingham connection. As our graduands wait for the ceremony to start, this is a time for them to reflect on how far they've come. They may think back to the first lecture they attended in a packed lecture hall, making friendships that will last a lifetime. Maybe they're thinking back to their first eureka moment, when their chosen field of study finally clicked into place. Or perhaps they're thinking about late-night debates in the Guild, that group project that pushed them to their limits, or the spark of inspiration when they saw their research was really making an impact. Today they close one chapter and open another. A degree from the University of Birmingham is more than just a name on a certificate. Our graduates are recognised by employers for their resilience, creativity and dedication. Soon, they'll find many exciting opportunities waiting for them. A quick shout out to the staff, students and volunteers who have made this special day possible. We couldn't have done it without you. Also, a reminder to share your photos from today on social media. Make sure to tag our accounts so we can engage with your moment. audience is a mixture of graduands who sit in the back of the hall and their loved ones who are seated near the stage. During the ceremony, the graduands will make their way up to the stage, accept their scroll, and be applauded by their families and fellow students. In the sea of formal robes in the ceremony, attendees may spot black gowns, red and green gowns, and possibly some other eye-catching colours. The black robes are worn by those graduating with their bachelor's and master's. Green and red robes are for those picking up a doctorate degree. To the families, friends and supporters watching from home today, your encouragement, pep talks and well-timed cups of tea have helped our graduates reach this day. Now it's time for the procession to start. Senior academics of the university are led into the Great Hall by 2 mace bearers and will sit on stage throughout the ceremony. There is a mace bearer at the front of the line and one at the back. The latter is called the Esquire Bedell. Both carry large silver maces that they put down on stage. This is a ceremonial kick-off to the day. The mace bearers are usually staff members from the university who have volunteered to take part. Row by row, the procession makes its way up to the stage, passing proud faces in the congregation, students in mortarboards, parents wiping away tears, tutors exchanging proud glances. A senior member of the university, such as the Chancellor or a Provost, will be the last to take their place. They'll stand before the attendees and declare the congregation open.
Good afternoon, everyone. I declare the congregation open.
So good afternoon to everyone and welcome to the University of Birmingham. It's wonderful that you've been able to join us here today. As Pro-Vice Chancellor and Head of the College of Engineering and Physical Sciences, it's my pleasure to welcome you, our graduands, and your friends, family and supporters to your graduation ceremony. We're here today to celebrate the completion of your educational journey with all the ups and downs of study and university life that it will have entailed. Congratulations, you did it. So this is the moment you've been working towards. To get here, you will have spent time exploring new ideas and experiencing the thrill of intellectual discovery. You may have had coffee-fueled debates with your fellow students during late-night study sessions. You may have tackled seemingly insurmountable problems and overcome them. You may think that you've only been here to study an academic discipline that you're passionate about, but you'll have learnt so much more on the way. You'll have learnt about perseverance, about balancing work and play, and about the value of friendship and community. All of these lessons are ones that you'll carry with you long after you leave this hall. Many of you will be leaving education behind and readying yourself to dive into the real world. But I urge you not to lose that spark of curiosity that you've nurtured during your studies. Keep listening to that voice in your head that says, "Go on, have a look, see what's out there." Keep asking why, how, and what if. Keep seeking out new knowledge. This will lead you in the direction of the best of adventures and will provide you with rich stories to tell. Today is an especially meaningful day, as we're not only celebrating a big milestone in your life, but also in the life of the university as we mark our 125th anniversary. Together, we've been celebrating this special milestone in memorable ways. You may remember seeing Old Joe lit up in vibrant colours at the start of the year, and you might have taken selfies in front of him with your friends. For a few months, the clock tower became a beacon of light that announced our celebration right across the city. In the spring, we reaffirmed our connection to our community by signing the Birmingham Civic Agreement, strengthening our commitment to serving the city and the region as a civic institution. As summer arrived, you will hopefully have found time to enjoy all of the events and social activities on offer in the Green Heart as part of UOB Extra. And you may also have enjoyed our Come to Campus festival and concert a couple of weeks ago. The sun shone down on thousands of students, alumni, staff and neighbours who all came together to celebrate our anniversary. It was a day of discovery, from exploring the Lapworth Museum of Geology, visiting Winterbourne House and Garden, to experiencing the cutting-edge research that really defines our university. And then in the evening, under the open sky, the university's Philharmonic and jazz orchestras, alongside special guest performers, delivered a powerful tribute to Birmingham's rich musical heritage, ranging from the elegance of Elgar to the electric spirit of ELO. It was a celebration that was proudly Brummie and unmistakably ours. It was also a reminder that this university has always been about more than buildings and books. It's really the people that bring it to life. I'm genuinely proud to be standing here on behalf of a university where inspirational people do inspirational things, and where every day we have the ability to change lives for the better. Today, I, like my colleagues, am inspired by what you've all achieved. Let's also take a moment to acknowledge those who've played a crucial role in your achievements to date. Behind me here are just some of the university community who've encouraged your intellectual curiosity, nurtured your creativity, and inspired you to question and explore. You'll also have been supported by tutors, student support teams, lab assistants, and so on. I invite you now to thank everyone who supported you during your time here. So sitting in front of me and tuning in from all corners of the globe are your friends, families and supporters. They're armed with tissues and cameras and smartphones. They're brimming with pride for all that you've achieved. You'll all have that person or those people who had faith in you. These are the people who supported you and showed you kindness, and without whom you wouldn't be here. So graduands, let's give a round of applause and a huge cheer to say thank you to all of your supporters and all the people who made it possible for you. So soon, you will come up onto the stage and Sandy Okuro, the Chancellor, will admit you to your degree. This is your moment. When your name is read out, that will be your graduation. And family and friends, that's your cue to make a lot of noise. So some final advice. Please be careful on the steps. Remember to give a big smile for the cameras, and don't forget to save your moment. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alessandro Motura. I'm a professor of physical metallurgy, and I'm the head of the School of Metallurgy Materials. And it's my honor today to be here representing the School of Metallurgy Materials and the School of Physics and Astronomy and act as presenting officers for all the graduating students. Chancellor, to you and to the university, I present the names of these graduates as listed in my program, proved worthy to be admitted to their respective degrees.
By virtue of my authority as Chancellor, I admit those persons listed in the programme, both in attendance and in their absence, to the degree to which they are to be presented.
For research into the discovery and characterization of exoplanets orbiting two stars at once using Doppler spectroscopy, eclipsing timing variations, and astrometry, Thomas Baycroft. For research into nanoplasmonic semiconductors composites, Anas Abdullah M. Bokhari. For research into the control of the interactions in an ultra-cold atomic mixture in mixed dimensions, Thomas Hewitt. For research into the properties of the W and Z bosons at the highest energies achieved in particle colliders, Mihaela Mariescu. For research of low-gain avalanche detector for timing layers at the High Luminosity Large Hadron Collider, Jonathan Franklin Mulvey. For research into optical timing for future telecom networks, Lakshmi Rajagopal. For research into operation of atom interferometers in dynamic motion, David Sedlock. For research into lepton flavor violation and performance optimization of the LHCb experiment, Daniel Thompson. For research into rare kaon decays, Adam Mateusz Tomczak. Doctor of Philosophy with Integrated Studies. For research on 3D printing of advanced aluminium alloys, Francesco Carreri. For research into the design of time-dependent characteristics into biomedical applications enabled by additive manufacturing, Barnaby Hawthorne. For research into developing micro and nano topologically structured substrates for advanced spectroscopic applications, David Femi Odetade. Master in Science, Physics, Martin Thomas Atkinson. Joseph Ball. Alexander Bowser. Thomas Bowser. James Boxall. Matthew David Brown. William Fletcher Burrows. Benjamin Cadell. Adam James Chowder. Luke Cook. Sadie Cross. Aisling Dunn. Katerina Stoicheva-Gelborova. Archie Griffiths. Abigail Harrison. Jan Caravaggio. Edward James MacDonald. Lauren McMahon. Jack McQueen. Nea Nair. Kasim Nur Mohammed. Avni Neela Patel. James Pierce. Henry Fippin. Sai Saroja Shruti Poturu. Jack Redman. Harrison Rich. Jonathan Riley. Harry David Roberts. Abu Bakr Siddiq. Elliot Michael Tolle. Ian Michael Walsh. Christopher Yvonne Wood. Physics International Study, Keenan Ruddock. Samira Saeed. Physics and Astrophysics, Jacob John Irie. Connor Robert Campbell. Aidan Christie. Elijah Mark Cox. Peter Herity. Fabrizio Ugo Hussein. Thomas Richard Marriott. Edward James Ryder. Barnaby Spooner. Emmeline Winchcombe. Chienshi David Yu. Physics with Particle Physics and Cosmology, Lok Yi Chan. Elliot Hawley. Joshua Hill. Trish Humphries. Sam Livesey. Anile Andamanda. William Rose. Jasper Trilk. Physics with Particle Physics and Cosmology with year in Computer Science, Anna Christina Timchishin. Physics with year in Computer Science, Al Kasra Rejali King. Theoretical Physics, Angus Stewart Bard. Peter James Gill. Dylan Gower. Finlay Michael S. Jones. Keelan James Francis McLaughlin. Craig Alexander Monker. Jude Christopher Muirhead. Freddie Plunkett. Alexander Rodriguez. Ewan Ronald Alexander Strathdy. Robin Trigg. Jet Maria Walker. Theoretical Physics and Applied Mathematics, Jacob Bannister. Lucy Dumas. Joseph Otto Eels. Bachelor of Science, Physics, Akila Ahmed. Ashley Andrews. Sachin Bhatia. Alice Bowden. Andrew Brian Boyle. Chun Chan. Isaac Chidwick. Adrian Christescu. Tyler Forshaw. Jai Hergan. James Huang. Evie Kendrew. Priya Kumar. Kiva Mary McWilliams. Cameron Murdoch. Jude Price. Alexander Raven. Thomas James Strike. Toby Watin. Alan Zhang. Physics with International Study, Ewan Lodge. Casper Graham Peberty. Physics and Astrophysics, Ahmed Saif Hamed Al-Baidi. Olivia Bridgewater. Henry Clark. Stephen Dandy. J. Nathan McDermott. Daniel Stephen Menza.
University of Birmingham, we're celebrating our 125th anniversary. As part of an exciting programme of activities and events, we've invited distinguished members of our university community to deliver a special anniversary speech, and we hope that these will guide, inspire and entertain you. Each of our speakers is the recipient of a 125th anniversary award, which they're wearing with pride. This award is a beautiful brooch, which has been created by the university's research partner, Cooks on Gold, which is a manufacturer based in Birmingham's famous jewellery quarter. And Cooks on Gold have worked with its sister company, Weston Bemore, to create the brooch. This afternoon's anniversary speaker is Professor Yvonne Ellsworth. Professor Ellsworth is a renowned physicist whose pioneering work has transformed our understanding of the sun and the stars. She earned a doctorate from the Victoria University of Manchester in 1976, where she developed a novel interferometer, a breakthrough that launched a diverse early career. Since joining the University of Birmingham in 1984, her work in helioseismology has helped unravel the mysteries of the solar core and resolve the long-standing solar neutrino problem. Her more recent research in astroseismology continues to reshape how we understand stars and their evolution. Please join me in warmly welcoming our distinguished guest, Professor Yvonne Ellsworth, as she delivers her anniversary speech to you, the class of 2025.
Thank you for those kind words. It is a pleasure and an honour to have been invited to address you at this important milestone in your lives. I'm sure there are many people who are very, very proud of your achievements so far, some of whom are here with you today. I will tell you a bit about my route to being a professional astronomer, and on the way, I will try to give you insights into my approach to my professional career. As a physicist, I could say that at some level, it was not quite a random walk. Sometimes there is a feeling that people who are ultimately successful have never had difficulties. At times, that is true, but not for me. I graduated in physics from the University of Manchester. I knew that I enjoyed astronomy, but it never occurred to me that I could make my living at it. Instead, I was attracted to the new subject of digital microelectronics, old hat now. I had several interviews towards the end of my undergraduate career as I looked for employment, two of which stand out. I will later come back to the second one. In the first one, I performed terribly. I did not really understand the questions, and the interviewer could not make much of my replies. We spoke a different language and used different names for processes. So overall, it was a disaster. So that was that, or so I thought. However, some time later, I got an invitation to a second interview. The reason given was that when the company had done a debrief with their interviewer, it had not made sense. And therefore, they decided that the interview had been a failure and therefore should be repeated. I was very impressed by this and impressed by the company, and eventually accepted a job offer from them. However, in the event, one of the Manchester lecturers showed me a map of the Sahara and a solar eclipse track. And he said, "How about a PhD? Build a brand new instrument to study chemicals in the upper atmosphere relevant to the destruction of the ozone layer, still a concept we care about today, and as a bonus, come to the eclipse." So I thought, why not? I'd never considered that I was good enough to continue with research. I was by no means top of the class. Perhaps I played too much bridge, but that's another story. But the fact that somebody else had confidence in me gave me the necessary boost. I did the PhD. I made the observations at the eclipse. Both were interesting experiences that changed my view of life. So was it plain sailing from there? Absolutely not. I knew I enjoyed research, but permanent posts were very hard to come by. There were cutbacks everywhere, and I was reliant on soft money short contracts. Also, for domestic reasons, I couldn't move around. So I had to take contracts in a range of topics in and out of astronomy. There's an interesting point here. I did not stay in any one field and develop the contacts, the longevity of a CV. Instead, I was constantly having to learn new techniques and establish relationships with new colleagues. It gave me flexibility. Eventually, I was on an industrial contract to transfer the instrumental knowledge through to the commercial sector. I had set myself a deadline for getting a permanent academic post, and it was fast approaching. So I started to look for industrial jobs again. Out of the blue came an email from a colleague to say that Birmingham was advertising a post that might be useful to me, might suit me. It was in a brand new area of solar astronomy, which I'll tell you about shortly. Within a few weeks of getting that email, I was in Birmingham for only the second time in my life, and I'd been offered a job as a lecturer. It was quite unreal. The solar eclipse during my PhD was the only solar experience that I had. But this was a new field. Very few people had experience, and what I did have was the proven ability as an instrument maker and a data analyst, plus the industrial experience of taking something that worked on the bench when coaxed and taking that to the marketplace where it had to just work. There are some lessons here. Don't feel you have to be a perfect fit before you apply for a job. And the second point is get good people to be your referees. Somewhat by chance, I have to say, I had the master of a major Cambridge college and the technical director of the company I worked with. That was chance, but you have to have the confidence to ask senior people if they will provide you with referees. I would dearly love to give you a whole lecture on my research topic, but I have 10 minutes. Solar oscillations is the topic, and the basic idea is that bodies, musical instruments, the acoustics running now, naturally resonate if stimulated. In the case of the sun, the trigger is turbulence, noise, in the outer convection zone. What was totally unexpected was that the sound waves triggered by that turbulence would travel through the sun quite easily and not damped, or very weakly damped. So the sun breathes gently with a period of about 5 minutes. A group in Birmingham, led by George Isaac, had pioneered high-precision observations. Actually, they were testing the method because they wanted to detect planets around distant stars. And in the process, they discovered a brand new phenomenon. When I was appointed, what was needed was to make progress from seasonal, short observational runs and to make a truly global network on which the sun never set. We also had to raise the money to achieve this, and my industrial experience was relevant. We were trailblazers in the field, and the group made significant discoveries over the years. Later, I worked on the similar oscillations of giant stars and was again lucky enough to be in at the early days of big discoveries. Okay, so should you have a big plan? Did I have a big plan? Or follow the choices? I was useless at a 10-year plan, absolutely useless. I did physics at university because I liked it and was good at it. I had very little idea what I would do with it afterwards. When I graduated, I expected to work in industry, but the offer of a PhD and a trip to the Sahara was just too good to miss. It was only once I had the PhD that I considered staying in academia, and I only just achieved that goal. However, I knew that there were other opportunities. I had short-term plans and options. I didn't just sit there and hope that something would turn up. When I did my undergraduate degree, physics was an unusual topic for a woman. The situation has improved over the years, perhaps not as much as I would have liked. In my day, a female student like me had to have a male lab partner to help her. I sometimes had to creep into the lab on a day that wasn't a lab day so that my useless lab partner wasn't interfering. The second interview that I remember from my undergraduate days was a visit to an off-campus location of a firm. There was a group of about 20 of us, and I was probably the only woman. A new building was under construction, and we were offered a tour to see it. But the builders said, if a woman comes on site, we will down tools. It's bad luck to have a woman on the site. To their credit, the company cancelled the tour. While there are clear negatives about being in a small minority, there are also advantages. I got chances to do things because a woman was needed. Obviously, you're under pressure to do the task well, but at least you get the chance. And I'm always pleased to see that the modern world is rightly much more accepting of diversity and the advantages that it provides. I would like to credit the importance of teaching in my career. I've always enjoyed it. There's something very rewarding in marshalling facts to communicate a concept. And now I look at the back, the students, you students, have kept me on my toes, and under a consequence have improved both my understanding of the topic and my ability to communicate it to others. As I come to the end of this talk, there are several points I would like to make. First, the importance of science. We have reams of information targeted at us every day, and we have to be able to evaluate it. In your studies here at Birmingham, you have been given the tools to assess information and to decide for yourselves whether it is fake news or valid. What is more, the world is very technical, and individuals need the skills that a science qualification provides. There is a tendency to feel that science is a specialism and belongs in its box. I feel very strongly that this is the wrong approach. Obviously, I applaud those who continue in science, but I also applaud those who take their science skills and use them in business, in government, to take just two examples. A science degree from Birmingham is a gateway to opportunity. The next thing I wanted to discuss is imposter syndrome. By many measures, I am successful. I've been rewarded with several medals. I'm a fellow of the Royal Society. But personally, I'm still astonished by these and don't quite believe that I merit them. You yourselves may well feel that the competition is too good and there are too many obstacles against your progress. Take heart and instead take a different approach. Know and value your skills. Believe in yourself, even if you're in a minority, but express your opinions politely and respectfully, and make sure you're well informed in your topic. And remember the nonconformist origins of this university and of the many pioneers in the city of Birmingham. And in brackets, give thanks for chocolate. I believe in the strength of teamworking and the sharing of ideas. Within this, you should value all grades of the people you work with. Treat everyone with respect, enjoy your work, have confidence in yourself while maintaining realistic expectations. Be open to comments from others. There'll always be something you need to improve on. But don't worry overly. There are many paths to success. Make informed decisions when presented with choices, but don't believe that there's only one opportunity. Believe in second and third chances. And have a great day. Thank you.
Chancellor, to you and to the University, I present the names of these graduates as listed in my programme, proved to be worthy to be admitted to their respective degrees. Physics and Astrophysics, Finlay Morris. Fiza Kazim Shah. Fenna Lauren Smith. Alexander Whelan. Rebecca Whitehouse. Zuoning Zhu. Physics with Particle Physics and Cosmology, Phoenix Archbold. Matthew Cartmel. Ethan Hunt. Ananya Upal. Alexander Wallace. Theoretical Physics, Megan Banks. Matthew Barker. Phoebe Gooch. Aidan Harrison. SM Tuid Rifat. Yishan Zhu. Theoretical Physics and Applied Mathematics, Liam Croucher. Daisy Claire Murray. School of Metallurgy and Materials, Doctor of Philosophy, for research into developing computer vision-based methodology to assist robots in handling unstructured environments, Ayush Agarwal. For research into advancement of chromium superalloys for concentrated solar power plants, including high-temperature oxidation, Thomas Blackburn. For research into characterization of proton-irradiated nuclear reactor pressure vessel steels, Alexandra Claire Dickinson-Lomas. For research into the behavior of nickel-based superalloys undergoing rotary friction welding, Miguel Espadero Sanchez Crespo. For research into dramatically increasing the speed of simulation of 3D printing and improving the quality, Miles Fan. For research into the deformation behavior of intermetallics and metals using novel indentation methods, Vincent Cagner. for research into the fracture behavior of structural steels at low temperature, Yunpeng Gao. For research into 3D printing of titanium alloys for medical application, Peter Ihab Ayad Ibrahim. For research into high-temperature crack growth in pressure vessel steels, Ke Liu. For research into novel zirconium alloys for next-generation nuclear, Johan Pauli Magnussen. For research into robotic strategies focused on grasping objects in complex environments, Cristiana Miranda de Farias. For research on the development and manufacturing of reactive metallic materials, Daniel James Porter. For research into variable autonomy approaches in human-robot teaming, Aniket Ramesh. For research into the properties of magnesium alloys that are tailored for structural automotive applications, Mohammed Waqib Saeed. For research into the effect of aging and degradation on the recyclability of nylon 12 within additive manufacturing, Benjamin Luke Sanders. For research into the production of ceramic matrix composite for low observable applications, Rebecca Xian Stedman. For research into additive manufacturing of advanced alloys, Wang Xuan Deng. For research into the properties of polymer-derived ceramic composites for aerospace applications, Elia Zankan. For research into the recycling of automotive lithium-ion batteries, Anton Zorin. Doctor of Philosophy with Integrated Studies, for research into the development of copper geocomposites coatings, Yingdi Feng. Master of Research, Abby Jones. Master of Engineering, Aerospace Engineering, Mazen Ahmed Ibrahim Mohamed Abuela. Benjamin Baines. Poojan V. Barry. Thomas Bishop. Hugo Gassot Dreyer. Jack William Glover. Katie Louise Gudge. Ahmed Hassan Rani. William Samuel Hurd. Thomas Martindale. Aditya Rajamani Ravi. Syed Roshan. Zach Edward Saganowski. Aryan Shergill. Jake Valayil. Benjamin Walton. Jake Wild. Thomas Wilson. Material Science and Engineering, Caitlin Isabel Edgerton. Jack Louis Charles Hobby. Alexander McShane. Saifur Riman. Material Science and Engineering with Industrial Experience, Louis Andrew Medlock. Nuclear Engineering, Sherina Salim Garaib, Rashed Al-Daheri. James Gillam. Cole Roberts. Nuclear Engineering with Industrial Experience, George Cahney. Luke Mulholland. Joseph Llewellyn Willis. Nuclear Engineering with Year Abroad, Lance Louis Lichauco. Bachelor of Engineering, Aerospace Engineering, Ryan Atkinson. Aaron Singh Bansal. Sumaya Bint Yasir. Emmanuel Chapman. Harry Clark. Michael Detheridge. Gideon Feingold. Joshua Frayling. Joseph Goldbert. Adam Goodman. Isabel Grafton. Oliver Kendrew. Nicole Kibukamusoke. Chung Men Alvin Kwok. Ryan Lau. Hadi Muhammad. Amalia Esther Renton. Borong Shen. Aerospace Engineering with Industrial Experience, Manpreet Biran. Ishmam Chowdhury. Matthew William Delamain. Jordan Dunk. Prabdhan Singh. Aerospace Engineering with Year Abroad, Sephora Chowdhury. Material Science and Engineering, Mohammed Ahmed Saif Al-Sharji. Abrar Mohammed Suleiman Al-Siyabi. Alessandro Barker. Simisola Amelia Joseph. Juntang Lu. Material Science and Engineering with Year Abroad, Benjamin John Howells. Bachelor of Science, Aerospace Technology, Arian Ghazizadeh. Min Chong Ho. Nuclear Science and Materials, Henry Jones. J. Lloyd. Ahmad Qureshi. School of Physics and Astronomy, Doctor of Philosophy, for research into determining the properties of ultra-dense nuclear matter from the observation of gravitational waves from colliding neutron stars, Natalie Williams. School of Metallurgy and Materials, Bachelor of Engineering, Aerospace Engineering, Sergne Abdu Kadre Wade. Hi. Thank you very much, and congratulations again to all graduates. I now would like to introduce Cole Roberts, who is a graduate of the MEng in Nuclear Engineering, as a student representative to give a speech on behalf of the students. Thank you very much.
First and foremost, I wish to extend my deepest gratitude towards the schools of Metallurgy, Materials and Physics and Astronomy for affording me the honour of addressing you all on behalf of this remarkable graduate cohort. To my fellow graduates, esteemed faculty, cherished family and dear friends, thank you for joining us today to celebrate. I still recall my earliest days at university, petrified, wide-eyed, but also surprised students, overwhelmed by the grandeur of it all. For some of us here today, university was a gateway to newfound freedoms. However, for all of us, it served as a prologue to a journey that would shape us throughout. I look back on the early days with a smile. I remember vividly the whispered warnings from the older students that if you walked under Old Joe whilst it chimed, you were doomed to fail. 4 years I avoided that clock tower. Well, after today, I might finally take that chance. As time passed, we found our people, we discovered passions in unexpected places, through societies, sports and friendships. Yet it became clear quickly that our academic paths would be far from simple. I believe that with time the difficulty would ease, yet in truth the challenges only grew year by year. But so did we. We learned not merely to study, but to endure, like stones polished by a rough tide, shaped by pressure, but not broken. We honed our resolve and cultivated an unyielding skill set called resilience, or the mentality to never ever give in. Every single one of us here today has known hard times, whether in the classroom or in life. And I invite you all to recall on one such moment, a time when you may have felt overwhelmed, uncertain, stressed, doubtful, or alone. Why do that on a day like today? Because it is precisely those moments that render today so profoundly meaningful. We can be guilty of looking back at our time here through rose-tinted lenses, but we must recognise that our degrees are not just symbols of academic merit, rather they are testaments to weathered hardships. Because behind every cap and gown here today is a story of sleepless nights in the library, every quiet deadline, every assessed problem, every lab report, every exam, and quantum mechanics 3. Nobody here found their scroll in a box of cornflakes. You fought for it. Those hard times were temporary, but the achievement here today is permanent. And more than that, you can look back at it as a reminder that when life next presents these hard times, and it will, you can overcome them. For me, my hard times were second year. The phrase second year blues became very real. It marked the end of the honeymoon period, where academic demands intensified and the stakes became tangible. I struggled massively. But me and my wonderful cohort of nuclear engineers, we had a secret weapon, the guidance of one of the kindest, most passionate and generous people that I've ever had the privilege to meet. He was our tutor, Dr. David Forrest. Dr. Forrest, from the School of Physics and Astronomy, sadly passed away on Friday, the 28th of May, 2025. He was a brilliant nuclear physicist and a profoundly compassionate senior tutor. Every time I nagged him for help with Year 2 maths, he would often say, "Cole, my door is always open." And he meant it, every time. Which is why, when we learned of his untimely passing, myself and the nuclear engineers placed flowers outside his office, and it was the first time I saw that door shut. I know this sorrow is shared. Without him, I wouldn't be standing here today, and I know the same may be true for some of you. So on behalf of the graduating cohort here today, I offer our deepest condolences to his family, his friends, and his colleagues. I wholeheartedly believe that if we can each grow to embody even a fraction of the kindness, the humility, and the dedication that Dr. Forrest showed, then I think we'll all be okay. As I bring this address to a close, I ask you once more, remember those difficult moments. They lend richness to joy. Use your resilience to conquer whatever the future holds, because there will come a point where all of us will fail. But as my old man often says, even at the Olympics, you get 3 goes. I wish you the absolute best. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2025.
Thank you, Cole. Good afternoon. Okay, I'm going to try that one more time. Good afternoon. It's all right. You get another chance. My name is Sandia Coro, and it's my honour to be the Chancellor of this amazing university where I myself was a student. I studied law and politics here and got my degree in this very room as well. Now, I know how proud all of you, family, friends, supporters, everybody who has supported this amazing class of 2025 are. I don't think you made enough noise during the ceremony, so I'm going to give you another chance to raise the roof, to stomp, to whistle, to congratulate this marvellous class of 2025. Let's make some noise. Well done, well done. I think you've made the best noise today so far, so well done to you. I'm the 8th Chancellor of the university and the first female Chancellor of this wonderful university. And this graduation ceremony is especially important to me. Some of you may not be able to see it, but I'm wearing a brooch. Now, this brooch was given to me when I was installed as Chancellor of the University last November in 2024. It is a brooch that was made in conjunction with the metallurgy department here at Birmingham University from 3D metal printing with Cooks and Gold and Western B-More, their sister company, which also made the brooch that was given to Yvonne, and designed especially for me. There's a big story behind it. You can watch it online at the installation ceremony on the website. But this brooch has come out as a result of the research and the brilliant work that is done here at the university in collaboration with the Jewellery Quarter here. So thank you very much for this. I just had to say this. I had to be at this ceremony because this is one of my most prized possessions. I'm part of 3 generations of Okoros who've been through this university. My mother, from the Windrush generation, studied nursing at QE. Me, from the Sony Walkman generation. Anyone remember what a Sony Walkman is? Anyone remember that? I studied law and politics here. And my son, Max, from the TikTok generation. As I said, graduated with a degree in criminology last week, and I was able to give it to him here on the stage, here in the Great Hall. So standing in front of you all today and giving out the degrees is like a homecoming for me. And as I look out at all these amazing graduates in the class of 2025, I know you too, class of 2025, want to show your appreciation to everyone in front of you who has supported you, who's kept you going, who's probably supported you financially as well. And I know you want to say a big thank you to everyone in the crowd who's here for you today and the faculty over here. So come on, class of 2025, make some noise, say thank you. The University of Birmingham is a place of many firsts. It was the first civic university to open its doors in 1900, founded on the belief that education can be a force for good, and not just for private good, but for public good as well. It was also the first university to have a faculty of commerce, the first university to incorporate a medical school and to welcome women to take medical degrees. It was the first university to establish a comprehensive school, the University of Birmingham School, and, one of my favourites, the first university to offer a degree in physical education. It's also been the home to 10 Nobel Prize winners, whose work has changed the world and the way we understand the world. And many inventions here, and I'll give you just a few. The cavity magnetron, which I'm sure many of our graduates are familiar with, transformed radar technology and helped alter the course of World War II. But most importantly, it's found in an everyday device, our microwave ovens. So next time you turn on the oven, think about that. The airbag, saving millions of lives on the road every day, invented here at the University of Birmingham. Pacemakers and heart valves, invented here at the University in Birmingham. And today, cancer treatments and medical advances that are changing the face of healthcare and saving lives are being worked on at this very moment. So, here, we don't only teach history, we make history. And to cap it all, we are number 76 in the QS rankings for 2025, which means this is one of the top 1% of universities in the world. So well done, graduates. My father once said to me, "Your education is something no one can ever take away from you." So, class of 2025, you have worked hard, I know that. Sometimes it hasn't been easy. Sometimes you might have wanted to give up, but you are here today. You overcame those obstacles, and you've earned the right to stand tall today. Some of you may be the first in your families to graduate from university, and some of you may have had a very difficult time getting here, but you are here, and that's what matters. And you will have made amazing friendships here. I can tell just while I was handing out the degrees on stage, some of you will make friends for life. They will support you through the good times, and they'll be there for you in the bad times as well. And remember, we at the University of Birmingham are also here for you. We have a wonderful first-class career service and a vibrant global alumni network. So when you go out of those doors, please don't forget us. Here will always be home. Your University of Birmingham graduation is not the end of your ties with this wonderful university. So, class of 2025, as you step into the next chapter of your life, I'm going to take my moment I have up here on stage to give you some words of advice. Now, this may sound very strange, given that you've just graduated, you're from the top 1% of universities in the world, and this marvellous day is a day you won't forget in your academic journey. But let me tell you this, cleverness is overrated. I'm not saying the money and the time you spent on your degree is not worth it, far from it. But what I am saying, there is more to life than being clever, and being clever on its own will not guarantee you success. So here are 5 things that I think need to go along with your being clever. Curiosity, number 1. Never, never, never stop learning. Never stop asking questions. Never stop exploring. Never sit comfortably in that comfort zone. And remember, as we heard from Yvonne as well, opinion is not a fact. What is the data telling you? You've been trained in that. Where is the proof? Be your own fact checker. Albert Einstein said, "The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing." Second one, motivation. Set your sights high. Move toward that goal with purpose. And don't let anybody else's limitations about you become limitations about yourself. My mother used to say, "What someone else thinks of you is none of your business." Do the thing you fear most, and then there's nothing left to fear. Number 3, people skills. Life is not a solo act. As they say, there is no I in team. Learn to connect. Learn to be compassionate. Learn to be patient. And learn to build bridges. Now, I appreciate not everybody is a people person, so maybe think of it as perspective. The world needs thinkers and observers as much as talkers and doers, because the way you see the world, the unique way you see the world, may be the very insight we need to make the world a better place. There is a famous African proverb that says, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together." Number 4, resilience. The only thing standing between most people and their dreams is their fear of failure. So if you fall down, don't worry about it. Falling down is not failure. Not getting back up, that is the failure. If you're down, it happened and it will happen. It happens to everybody. But when it happens, not if, when it happens, have a little cry, have a cup of tea, a chocolate biscuit, the whole packet, whatever it is that's going to make you better, but get back up. Sometimes you will hear a no when you really want to hear a yes, and that might feel like the end of the world, but it isn't. What it means is a new world has opened up to you. The one you thought that was going to be in front of you may well have disappeared. But everything else is now opened up. So embrace that no, run with that no, and see what you can do. A famous hairdresser back in the 60s called Vidal Sassoon said, "The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary." So you are going to have to work hard. And it proves today, you're here today, you're not afraid of that. And number 5, kindness. Kindness is not a weakness. It's courage in action. So be kind, be courageous. Desmond Tutu said, "Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world." So, today, here you are, class of 2025. One bit of your dream has come through today, graduating here. There is more to come. So, dream big. Dream very, very big. You are a University of Birmingham graduate. That will be your superpower. Nelson Mandela said, and I leave you with this quote, "There is no passion to be found in playing small, settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." What are you capable of living, class of 2025? We're going to see. So, class of 2025, I salute you. Go into the world, support one another, be kind, be bold, live your dreams, and never forget your home is here at the University of Birmingham. So congratulations, go change the world. I can't wait to see what you're going to do. Go be great. I declare the congregation closed.
The ceremony that completes the university journey for hundreds of Birmingham alumni has come to an end. The procession begins to stream out of the Great Hall, carrying with them the maces that were set down at the start of the ceremony. It's a nice bit of visual poetry that bookends the ceremony. As those maces are carried forward, so too are our graduates onto their next adventure. This is a powerful moment for our graduates, representing the culmination of years of dedicated study. The education, connections, and friendships they have made at Birmingham will last a lifetime. The University of Birmingham is known for producing great thinkers, change makers, and innovators. From Nobel Prize winners to sporting champions, this institution has shaped minds that go on to make a real difference in the world. Today's graduates are stepping into that legacy, ready to make their mark, whether they're heading into research, launching businesses, or, let's be honest, finally taking a proper break before the next adventure begins. From the Great Hall to the wider world, our graduates will carry the knowledge, ambition, and spirit of Birmingham in their next chapter. Wherever you're watching from, this is not just an ending, it is the beginning of something exceptional.